and turning away. ما يأتيهم من ذكر من ربهم محدث إلا استمعوه وهم يلعبون. There does not come to them any new reminder from their Lord except that they hear it and they continue to play. This is the first two verses of Sura Anbiya, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in these verses tells us of the awful state in which mankind is. And he says that the hisab is drawing close to people. اقترب للناس حسابهم means that it is the hisab which is moving towards people, and there is a subtle point here that Allah is wishing to make, and that is that it's not the people who are moving towards their accounting, towards their day of judgment. It's the day of judgment that is moving towards them. And the subtle point here is that it's as if people, they're not making any efforts towards their akhirah. They're not taking steps for their akhirah, to move on that path towards the akhirah. Rather, they're trying to avoid that, but that doesn't mean that it's not coming. Like we say in English, if you bury your head in the sand, it doesn't mean that the thing stops to exist. Just because I close my eyes, oh no, I can't see it anymore. Doesn't mean it's not there. It's still there. The hisab is still there, and it's coming. It's coming at great speed. Iqtaraba is the emphatic form of qaruba, meaning it's coming at great speed. It's really moving towards them. And yet, even though imagine you're sitting on a train track, and this train is rumbling and coming and making noise. Everything is reminding, the ground is shaking, everything is reminding you of the incoming train or oncoming train. And then imagine a person who in that state continues to draw shapes in the sand and play with pebbles and do things. Everything is reminding him of what's about to happen, and yet he's ignoring that. This is the state of وَهُمْ فِي غَفْلَةٍ مُعْرِضُونَ. They are in ignorance and they turn away. The Mufassirin, the exegetes have said that there is kind of a contradiction between these two terms, or they're opposites, isn't it? Because ghafla, ignorance, means that there is something that is there and I don't know that it's there. So for example, if my house is burning down and I don't know that it's burning down, I wasn't aware. If I knew, I would have called the fire department. I didn't know. I wasn't told. I was somewhere else. I was in another country. Whatever. I did not know that my house is on fire. That means to turn away. That means that I know that something is there. To turn away from something, I should know that it's there, and then I turn it away. So it's the opposite. It's not ignorance. It's knowing. I know that something is there, and I choose to ignore it. So there is a bit of a contradiction. Yeah. So it's like if my house is burning down, and I don't want to see it. So we can quote two different interpretations for this. One is from Zamakhshari. He says that the people are first in the state of ghafla, of ignorance, and then when the Prophet comes to them and tells them the reality, reminds them, tells them there is an akhirah, there is a God, so on and so on. Then when they refuse to listen to that, they turn away, they close their eyes, they put their fingers in their ears, then that's the state of i'rad. So that as if he's saying, هُمْ فِي غَفْلَةٍ ثُمَّ مُعْرِضُونَ, they are in ghafla, and then they turn away. He says that actually the apparent meaning of the verse is that these two are occurring at the same time. Allah is not saying هُمْ فِي غَفْلَةٍ ثُمَّ مُعْرِضُونَ. He's saying هُمْ فِي غَفْلَةٍ مُعْرِضُونَ. They are in ghafla and turning away in the same time. So he says that this is because the ghafla is self-inflicted, self-imposed. It is because they turn away and they place themselves in ignorance. So it is they know that there is a day of judgment, but they don't know the reality of it. They don't grasp the importance of it. They don't understand what it really means, because if they did, they would not act like this. If we really understood what is Yawmul Hisab, what is Jahannam, what is Jannah, you think we would act in the way we act? No, we would not do so. So this is ghaflatin, and this is the ignorance of the reality of that thing. مَا يَأْتِيهِمْ مِنْ ذِكْرٍ مِنْ رَبِّهِمْ مُحْدَثٍ إِلَّا اسْتَمَعُوهُ. There does not come to them any new reminder from their Lord except that they hear it and they continue to play. The new reminder, according to most of the Mufassirin, is referring to the prophets, and that is the primary meaning, that every time a prophet comes, he brings the same message. They say the shuyukh, they always repeat their khutbahs and their lectures. It's always the same. You heard one, you heard them all. And this may be true, isn't it? Obviously, it might be because, okay, there's, maybe they're lazy, they don't want to come up with new lectures, they just want to always say the same thing. But also, it's because the nature of Maw'ala requires repetition, because the message is the same. And you have to keep giving that message in the hopes that maybe someone will hear and will take heed of it. Every prophet came with the same message, with the same religion, with the same thing. There is a God, there is a hereafter, there is life after death, there is judgment, there is Jannah, there is hell. It's the same message every time, again and again. But it's called dhikr muhdath, it's called a new reminder. Why? Because every time, again, it's needed to be heard again and again, to be done over and over is required and necessary. Obviously, the meaning of dhikr muhdath is much wider than just the prophets. It includes the new prophets coming. But it includes all the reminders of God. Because Allah says dhikr. He didn't say Nabiyyin muhdath. A new prophet came. He said dhikr, reminders. And the reminders of God are more than the prophets. It is His signs that are all over and everywhere, that we witness every day. Events that occur. Just today, some of the brothers, they went to bury one of the brothers, may Allah rest his soul, in Lahti. He died 30 years old from cancer. This is a dhikr. This is dhikr al-muhdath. This is a new reminder that Allah is telling you that who told you you're going to die when you're 100, when you're 90, when you're 80, when you're 70, 60, 50, 40, whatever. Today could be your last day. Tomorrow could be the day of your death, when you're in your grave. This is the reminders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do we take heed? Do we realize, oh yes, my hisab is iqtaraba. It's coming close to me with great speed. Today could be my last day. The judgment is approaching me. But unfortunately, most people don't. They know that death is a reality, but they turn away from it. They put themselves into the ignorance of that thing, isn't it? And Allah says that they are yal'abun, they are playing. Play is something which has no purpose, is called play. If I make something and then someone asks me, why did you make that? I say, oh, just for fun, for play, That means that I didn't make it so I sell it, or I didn't make it because I want to use it for my job or something else. There's no purpose for that thing. It's just something that I make for play. It's just using my time, wasting my time, No real purpose in that thing. So Allah is saying that people are as if they're playing. They're wasting their days, their time, the capital that Allah has given them, the opportunity that Allah has given them. Instead of using it for their akhirah, they're using it on their dunya. And that's just, it's play. There's no purpose to that. The dunya, anything you acquire in it is without purpose. It's all fleeting, temporary. It's like building a sandcastle. The next time the wave comes, it's going to take it all away. There's no permanence to those things. And this is, of course, the reality of turning away from the reminders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is, you're as if a person was playing. Like that man who's playing with the pebbles sitting on the train track when the train is incoming. That is the sorry case of most people. And that's why Allah says, اِقْتَرَبَ لِلنَّاسِ all mankind is like this. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us of those who pay heed to His reminders.